Okay, guys. Here's the clip I was referring to about Bryce Harper with what Jason's doing, and I really like the fact that as Jason is getting to it, if the ball were actually, out in front where it should be, you'd see the similarities between what Harper's doing, what Jason's doing. I think this is a really cool comparison. Yes, Harper's front elbow is up a little higher, but there's a difference between a 19-year-old and a 7-year-old. But we see how the bat here is right down in here, how, very similar to what Jason's doing. This front leg is nice and straight. Harper's back foot is actually up off the ground as he's going to swing, and which is, a little unusual, but it's just kind of one of the things that he does. But when we take a look and notice that foot strike to where Jason is and where Bryce Harper is, when Jason's front foot actually hits the ground, we see the fact that that front elbow is nice and bent, that back elbow is down, we see the hips starting to turn, that front leg is slightly bent, we see the knee starting to move forward, and as we see Harper, very similar type of positions in the fact that his back elbow is pointing down. Usually you can see how it's a little closer to his body than where Jason's is, but his front elbow is bent, that bat is pointing up, and you can see how it's starting to move, but it's in a really good slot. So now as he comes through, we see how his back elbow, we see Harper's back elbow here slides against his side, his front elbow is still bent, and he's starting to point the knob of the bat towards the pitcher. As Jason starts to move here, we see how that back elbow is in a slightly different spot, as I referred to earlier. See that back elbow pointing, forward towards the pitcher, where we see Bryce Harper, his elbow is really kind of almost down, pointing towards his down the line of his pant leg. Okay, but we see how that elbow is the knob of the bat's pointing up, the elbow is up, just like what we're seeing. Let's get okay, just as Harper's doing, we see the knob of the bat starting to point up, see that elbow start to come up, and it's really a solid looking position overall. Then we see that extension. This was the double that he hit in the game against the Dodgers in his first game, and then we see Jason as he's coming through. Notice the difference in his hands and how as he starts to swing, the bat head starts to come up, and we see how everything's kind of pointing up here versus in Bryce Harper where those hands are kind of pointing forwards and outwards a little bit more. So, this is a little something different that a Major League ball player does, different from a 7-year-old, sure. But I think it's a really great comparison. And even after he swings, we see how he stays up on that toe. We see here how after Jason swings, he kind of rolls back on that back foot, and that's kind of normal for a lot of guys. So, overall, it's a really fun comparison to see the positions that you're getting into in comparison to what some of the biggest names in the game are getting into. But ultimately, I would say one of the most important aspects is where you're getting to at contact, or where you should be getting to at when you make contact with the ball. This is an excellent position for you to be in. Now we just have to wait for that ball to get within reach, so then we can make contact with it. So, so thank you again for sending your videos in. You definitely gave me a workout, but it's something that it's always fun to see what guys are doing out on the field, and hope to see more videos from you guys down the road. So I wish you continued luck, and if you guys have any more questions, don't hesitate to ask, and let me know what we can do to help. Okay, take care.